It's 3 a.m. and you hear it again. Thump, thump, thump. Your dog is chewing at their paw so hard the whole bed shakes, and you already know tomorrow you'll find another bald, raw patch on their skin. You've tried the sprays, you've tried the pills, you've spent way too much money at the pet store on tiny bottles that promise everything and deliver almost nothing. So let me ask you something. What if the real fix wasn't sitting on a store shelf at all? What if it was sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now, less than 10 feet away from you? Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Sarah Peterson, your neighborhood veterinarian, and welcome back to the channel. In my clinic, itchy, irritated skin is one of the single most common reasons pet parents walk through my door, and right behind it, fleas and ticks. We are trained to reach straight for a chemical spot-on treatment and a steroid pill, and don't get me wrong, sometimes those are absolutely necessary. But I also believe in treating the whole dog, not just masking a symptom for 2 weeks until it roars back. So today, we are doing a complete masterclass. I'm going to show you exactly how a few simple ingredients you already own can calm angry, inflamed skin fast, and how to build a natural shield that makes your dog a far less appealing target for fleas and ticks. Grab a notebook because we're covering the fast relief first and then the long game. Let's start with step 1. Immediate relief, because when your dog is mid-scratch, they don't care about the science, they just want the fire put out right now. If you look closely and see a small, angry, weeping red patch where they've been chewing obsessively, what we call a hot spot, go grab plain, unrefined coconut oil from your pantry. Coconut oil is rich in lauric acid, a natural compound known for mild antibacterial properties. Take a small amount on clean fingers and gently pat it onto the irritated area. It cools the skin almost instantly, forms a light protective layer, and if your dog licks it, that's completely fine, since it's safe for them to ingest in small amounts. Now, what if the smell coming from their paws or their ears reminds you of corn chips? That specific smell is often a sign of a yeast overgrowth on the skin, something called malassezia. Yeast thrives in warm, damp little pockets like the space between paw pads and the folds of the ear. One simple trick professionals use is diluted apple cider vinegar, mixed 50-50 with warm water, because a more acidic environment is much harder for yeast to survive in. Dip a cotton ball in the mixture and gently wipe between the toes or along the outer ear flap. One very important safety note here: never use this on skin that is raw, cracked, or bleeding, because the acidity will sting intensely on an open wound. This is strictly for intact, simply irritated skin. If the itching isn't isolated to one spot but seems to be everywhere, a full-body oatmeal soak works wonders. Grab plain, unsweetened oats from your pantry, blend them into a fine powder, and stir that into a lukewarm bath. Never use hot water on inflamed skin, since heat draws more blood to the surface and actually worsens the redness. Let your dogs soak in that milky water for about 10 minutes, then gently pat them dry without rubbing. Oatmeal has long been used to soothe irritated skin because it forms a light, calming film. You'll often see a visibly calmer, more relaxed dog by the end of it. And if some of the itching is really just nervous licking out of boredom or mild anxiety, a large frozen carrot can genuinely help. The act of chewing releases natural, feel-good chemicals in a dog's brain, distracting them from the itch cycle entirely while giving them something to actually enjoy. So the fire's out for tonight. Now let's move to step 2, building a natural defense against fleas and ticks from the inside out. Traditional flea and tick treatments work by making your dog's bloodstream mildly toxic to any parasite that bites them, and for many dogs, that's the right call. But if you're looking to add a gentler, complementary layer of protection, here's where kitchen ingredients come in. First, we can make your dog less appetizing to parasites from the inside. Adding a very small splash of that same diluted apple cider vinegar to their food bowl, or a tiny pinch of turmeric blended into a bit of coconut oil, subtly shifts the flavor profile of their skin's natural oils. Fleas and ticks are highly sensitive to scent and taste, and many pet parents report far fewer bites once this becomes a regular habit. Second, there's brewer's yeast, a supplement rich in B vitamins that, when sprinkled lightly over their dinner, is absorbed and slowly released back out through the skin. You won't notice a difference in how your dog smells, but insects hunting by scent often steer clear. A tiny pinch of dried rosemary can offer a similar mild repelling effect. And if you're dealing with an active flea situation already, raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds, ground into a fine powder and sprinkled over food, contain a natural compound called cucurbitin, traditionally used to help disrupt the internal parasite life cycle as part of a broader plan alongside your vet's guidance. Now let's talk about step 3, the long-term fix, because here's a biological truth most people don't know. Chronic itching very often doesn't start on the skin at all. It starts in the gut. Many commercial diets are loaded with cheap, heavy carbohydrates, and in a dog's body, those starches break down into sugar, and sugar is exactly what feeds yeast and bad bacteria. Over time, this can throw off the gut's natural balance, and when the gut is unbalanced, the immune system tends to overreact to completely normal things like pollen or dust, and that overreaction often shows up as red, itchy skin. The fix here is simple. Introduce good bacteria. A spoonful of plain, unsweetened kefir, plain yogurt, or pure canned pumpkin puree mixed into their regular food helps lay down a healthy layer of probiotics in the gut. This can calm an overactive immune response and cut off some of the fuel supply feeding that yeast in the first place. One critical warning before you buy anything: always read the label. You are specifically checking for an ingredient called xylitol, sometimes relabeled as birch sugar. It's a common sweetener in diet or sugar-free yogurts, and it is extremely toxic to dogs, even in tiny amounts. Only ever use 100% plain, unsweetened products. The final internal piece is building genuinely resilient skin. Every few weeks, your dog's body naturally regenerates its entire outer layer of skin, and that new skin is built from fats. If your dog's diet is low in fresh active fats, that new layer comes out thinner and more vulnerable, both to itching and to parasites finding an easy bite. Adding a small amount of omega-3s through a mashed sardine packed in water twice a week, a simple cooked egg, or a splash of homemade, unseasoned bone broth gives the body real building blocks for thicker, more hydrated, healthier skin. I know that's a lot of ingredients. Coconut oil, apple cider vinegar, oatmeal, brewer's yeast, pumpkin seeds, kefir, sardines. So here's my golden rule: never introduce all of these at once. A sudden pile of new, rich ingredients is a fast track to an upset stomach and a messy morning. Instead, use the rotation method. Every day, pick just one skin builder, like an egg or a sardine, one gut helper, like a spoonful of yogurt or pumpkin, and one bug deterrent, like a pinch of brewer's yeast. That's it. 3 small additions, 10 extra seconds of prep, rotated through the week. Dealing with constant scratching, hot spots, and the fear of fleas and ticks is genuinely exhausting as a pet parent. It can make you feel helpless watching them so uncomfortable in their own skin. But by taking the time to actually understand what's happening underneath that itch and pairing smart, natural habits with your vet's guidance rather than replacing it, you are giving your dog a real shot at comfortable, healthy skin. If this video gave you some hope tonight, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more pet parents dealing with the exact same struggle. Subscribe so you never miss the next masterclass, and tell me in the comments, is it the itching or the fleas and ticks that's driving you crazy right now? I read every single comment. Give your dog a gentle scratch behind the ears for me tonight. Trust your instincts, and I'll see you in the very next video.